because I had a couple of questions about that today, because it sounds amazing, and it is, honestly, trust me. We know that as we move forward, we now are getting the options of how we deploy our technology. Is it on-prem? Is it in the cloud? Is it in a hybrid cloud? Is it SaaS? And for us, we know that those applications are tending to increase in terms of where they sit and the expectation of how they're used. And for us, we know that being able to help assure that the performance of applications consistently improve, whether we help control the use of internet on social media, or whether we look at going right down into IT and helping them look at how we can leverage dynamic WAN in terms of multiple WAN connectivity, all of which are equally as important to our customers, okay? So that means it's really simple in the Infovista world. 5 things. That's all we think about all the time. And it is visibility, control. And when I say visibility and control, you'd always have at the same time. If you had visibility with no control, it would be like driving down the road with a truck coming towards you with no steering wheel and no brakes. You'd be better off not knowing it was happening. So you wouldn't have visibility without control. We then turn into WAN optimization. WAN optimization is a traditional acceleration, which you would have seen from some of my competitors in the past in terms of Riverbed. Less and less people are starting to use acceleration or optimization if they control properly. If you are an ambulance travelling to a crash on the motorway and it's clear, you've got to be there in 3 minutes and it's 3 miles away, you don't need to travel faster than 60 miles an hour. So you don't need to optimise it. If it's 6 miles away and the ambulance needs to travel at 120 miles an hour, you need to optimise it. So it's dependent on the application user. Voice, there's no point in accelerating voice. Voice needs to just be consistently delivered so you don't get any jitter. There's no point getting it before. So there's a lot of people now starting to think, apply the intelligence and you may not need to optimise, which is a good way of thinking about it. Dynamic WAN selection is our ability to leverage multiple underlying WAN infrastructures. You may have multiple service providers. It could be an MPLS circuit, which you want to have an active-active backup with an ADSL circuit. Part of the drivers for Carphone Warehouse was the time it would take BT to roll out brand new MPLS circuits to the stores. So before we did that, we rolled out ADSL the following day. And it made no difference. It's agnostic to the underlying infrastructure. So again, it starts adding a lot more flexibility, especially on people wanting to deliver agile services. Boots use it for instance, for designing pop-up stores. They don't want to wait to put an MPLS circuit in. So they deliver the same governance over the WAN and the way the applications perform on a hybrid.
How do your customers engage with you? Do they come to you and say, we want to set up a pop-up store in 3 days? Or do they say, we've heard new technology can help us do this?
It's a combination of 2 things.
How do you engage in those 2 ways?
We're a 100% channel organisation as a for instance. A few reasons for that. One is scale. One is the fact that a lot of customers will outsource their business to SIs or outsourcing partners who deliver a set of processes and people already. So for us, it's adding into that. Some organisations will talk to their partners about where they're trying to go to. Some of our telco manufacturers, telco providers, so our technologies are embedded in BT, Vodafone, OBS, EasyNet. Those guys will use our technology as an innovator, rather than what would have been the traditional way of increasing bandwidth. As you saw on the Carphone, we actually saved Carphone in $1.5 million in lines. Now, that went through BT. Now, that was an awkward conversation originally, as you'd imagine, because I've just said, I've got some technology to make your size of your ongoing contract shrink. But they have to innovate. They have to innovate.
So I know Mr. Post.
Right.
And I would have thought he would have said, I want to give a different experience to my customers when they come in the store.
Yeah.
And I want my customers to have a different engagement with my shop assistant.
Yep.
But I can't make it happen with the tech. Help me.
Yeah, but that.
So that would have seen a bit of business driven.
Yeah, we actually reached out to Carphone in just the way that our guys internally work around trying to find people who believe our technology would be impactful enough for them to do something, and it's important enough that they'll act on it. So quite often now, if you think about, we're talking about Ladbrokes and Boots and those type of organisations, we're almost bypassing IT and going to the CMOs and the guys who are head of transformation and say, tell us actually what you want to do. Because they all have a vision, but they seem to be constrained by tech or process. Process is a massive one because people just don't like change. So for us, it's a mixture of the two.
It would be great to get a couple of questions in before you
Yeah,
finish.
please, yeah, I can.
Any more slides you've got? Can I take a question here?
Yeah, please do. Hi.
Hi, you said in passing as you went through that traditional response from network guys is it's just class of service.
Yeah.
Why isn't it just class of service? Because a lot of what you do is available through traditional network protocols.
Yep.
You must be doing something else.
Yeah, so the technology itself, outside just quality of service, for us, we actually set a level of priorities based on business. Okay, so rather than going down to a specific application, we can say very clearly right at the very beginning, let's set a priority based on how you need certain parts of your business to perform. That will then dynamically change the environment around it to change levels to ensure that priority you set right at the beginning consistently is delivered. So it will be the dynamic. We talked about the ambulance on the motorway. I'll see it come in. I'll turn off the light. I'll turn off the lanes to get it to the fast lane as quickly as possible, and turn everything on behind it. So it's dynamic in its thinking. It's autonomous in how it provides that reporting and control of those applications. So some people still will use static quas. But in terms of adding in new applications in a very rapid deployment, in terms of agility, then they're tending to find I can set a single priority and it will roll that out to the whole environment.
So is it a control wrapper for that sort of technology, or is it an entirely different technology?
John, you're probably better off answering that.
So we use some of the traditional methods of delivering a course type environment within our technology, but part of what we do is apply some magic around that in terms of understanding the network holistically, all of the traffic sources and sinks, understanding on a flow-by-flow basis what is the actual requirement for that application, what the requirement is for Pinpoint, which is a critical application. It takes much bandwidth, and yet the till application that is equally important in terms of converting that sale into money for Carphone takes a much smaller fraction of the bandwidth. It's an old green screen application at the moment, and both are critical, but both have different behaviours in the network. Our technology allows you to have that different behaviour treated with the same criticality, overlaid with all of the other stuff that the network does. So in the case of Carphone, all of the mobile devices in the store attached to the Wi-Fi to be able to demonstrate the internet through sound, through video, through mail, whatever. And all of those have different behaviours. Being able to layer that flow by flow, device by device, application by application, site by site, globally across the network is where our technology differs to standard network quads, which works hop by hop across the network.
Chris, can I just ask you maybe just to summarise, because I think coming.
Yeah, fine. So hopefully, look, I wanted to spend some time with you guys today because I wanted to give you a view of how we're trying to do things differently. I think hopefully the Dixons Carphone piece gave you a view that we're trying to help customers deliver upon their aspirations of where they're wanting to go, to get people to start thinking about the art of the possible by actually being able to control and deploy applications which are going to deliver value to customers and as much as it would be employees. The solution's pretty different, we believe, and as I say, in the years that I've been doing, I've literally every person I've walked into has said, I'd love that. It's then changing their mindset of process and the people around it to make it to be implemented. So I'm hoping that's given you a little bit of an insight. Please feel free to reach out to me if you feel it would be something you'd want to talk further about. Outside of that, I've almost finished on time. It's rare for me, very rare.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much.